Hi guys, welcome back to A Page in the Chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and it is time for my October TBR. October is my favourite month for reading. I look forward to it every year. I plan out the TBRs months in advance. I start collecting books for October months in advance. October TBRs are always the easiest videos for me to film because there's just no thought or planning required because it's just done throughout the year, because I look forward to the October autumnal cozy, slightly scary, Halloween spooky books all year. I feel like in October I can delve into some slightly different genres that I'm never in the mood for otherwise. I can read some slightly darker books. I can dip into those really cozy autumnal fantasies or just autumnal books in general. I just find October is always a really good reading month for me, both previously in terms of number and how I found the books to be. This year will probably be if it is a good reading month, it will be in terms of how I find the books, the ratings that I give the books, because I only have 5 books on my TBR for the month of October and I'm not entirely sure I will get to all of them. Some of them may be spilling over into November, and the reason that there has been a drastic decrease in my reading is that this week I started my master's degree and I am already completely inundated with work. So I don't think my reading will be that high because something's gonna have to give. I have a job, I'm doing a master's degree, and I have this channel, and I don't want to give up a single one of these things. If I can avoid it, I want to avoid reducing the amount of content I put out. Like, I want everything regarding this channel to stay exactly the same and also still be able to stay on top of my work. So if the amount I read suffers for that, that is the price I'm willing to pay. That is a very small price in my opinion, because I am a bit worried about the amount I will be able to post on this channel. So I have kept it quite small. I'm still a bit unsure about where I will find the time to read these books, but I think I can figure it out. I just need to settle into a routine. So if you guys like seeing TBRs and wrap up, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload bookish videos twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there's just no shortage of bookish content here, and TBRs and wrap-ups come out once a month all of the time. So if you like that kind of classic review / TBR content, then you will find that twice a month here on this channel. Without further ado, let's get on into the books that I want to read in October. So normally on my TBRs I have like 1 or 2 like priority book I like to get to or aim to get read in that month, but in October I've been waiting so long to read all of these books that they are all priority books. I want to read all of them and I don't know how I'm going to choose which one I read next, so I will probably be asking Instagram for a lot of polls. So to start off with, I ran a poll to see what book I should pick up for this week. I haven't really put a dent in it though, so I will be carrying it over into October, and Instagram voted that I should pick up Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This is the sequel to Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which is a dark academia, slightly fantastical book. It has a slightly darker tone than some of V.E. Schwab's other books, and this series follows Victor and Eli as they are mortal enemies and they are hunting each other down in order to kill each other. And we also see through flashback the fact that they were actually friends at university and how a study into extraordinary human beings led to the downfall of their relationship and everything that kind of came about through that time at university and the dark things they were researching at university, and that is where that dark academia comes in. So I am only 34 pages into this book. I have not been able to find the time to read this, but so far I am really enjoying it. The vibes are top notch, so good for October. I just now need October to be more rainy than September was. I want to hear some raindrops on my window whilst I am reading this. It's October now, like come on weather, start acting like it. So V.E. Schwab books never tend to let me down. There has only been 1 book of hers previously that I have not enjoyed, and this is one of those books that is not scary or horror or anything like that, but it does have some tension and is slightly darker than books I would normally pick up. So first Vicious and now Vengeful are being read in October. There has been exactly a year between when I read Vicious and now I'm picking up Vengeful. I'm really ready to go in and get up to date on this series now. V.E. Schwab books, I feel like I think I finished and then I find out from someone that there will be another one, so let me know when it comes to the Vicious series. The second book that I have to share with you is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This is a fantasy story following our main character Rin, and her family looks after this graveyard, and I believe her and her siblings are potentially like grave robbers in order to stay alive, but it's like their family's graveyard, or I don't know, there's something special about this graveyard to Rin's family. So whilst Rin and her siblings are gravediggers, they have encountered a problem in that the dead don't particularly want to stay dead, and I take it these siblings are basically being haunted, and it is said that the reason they are haunted is because of like a curse. And so when Ellis, a mapmaker, comes to town, Rin and Ellis kind of team up to solve the mystery of this curse and how Rin and her siblings can stop being haunted by the bone houses, which are the alive dead things. So the reason this one has always like called to me in the past is because it is kind of centered around bones. I mean, in this story the bones are going to be kind of evil, but I like a good bone. My master's degree is in forensic anthropology, so anything with bones in it is kind of my vibe, like bones and skeletons and things, and this just seems like a perfect one for October time. It is slightly spooky. I think it's a YA though, so it's nothing too intense. If anything, this is giving me the same kind of vibes as The Graveyard book by Neil Gaiman, but obviously aimed at a slightly older audience, and The Graveyard seems to be a bit more evil than in Neil Gaiman's book. But still, I am excited to go into this one, and stay tuned for my thoughts on it at the end of the month. The next book that I would like to get to in October I don't own yet. I keep meaning to pick it up and I keep not getting to it, but I'm gonna order it after this filming session, and that book is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This is a very hyped book, and it's like dark academia, dark toned books, so I would really like to get to it in either October or November time. This is a dark academia book, I believe, that tells the tale of if the Library of Alexandria didn't burn down, and it has these guardians. I don't know. The only thing I needed to know was Library of Alexandria business. I think there's some kind of like mystery. I don't know. I just know that this book has absolutely incredible reviews. It is a favourite amongst the dark academia, darker books for October, autumn fan base here in the book community, and I would just really like to get to it. I believe the sequel has recently come out or is coming out, and I'm really ready to pick up this book. I want to form my own opinion of it. I have a little bit of a fascination with the Library of Alexandria, and I really want to read this book, so I'm hoping that I will have the time and the money to both buy it and read it in the month of October. This next one won't even be a surprise if you have seen my most recent book haul, or if you're just aware of the goings on in what's being published lately. So as a little hint, this next book follows on with the theme of dark academia. Yeah, you already know that it is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have very recently finished the Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang and adored it. It was much darker and more intense than I would normally read, but I had a really good time with it. It was beautifully written, and the like political history and socio-political context that she was able to bring in and the knowledge she had was just so incredible, so I'm very interested to see that in this book. Babel is a dark academia book centered around Oxford, and Babel is like the translation center in Oxford, and it follows our main character as he believes the center for translation to be a paradise and actually realizes that it is darker, and I believe it's about him choosing between something. I can't remember who talked about it, but I saw someone on booktube talking about how dark academia as a subgenre has been criticized for how like Western centered it has been, and this is like a sort of response to that. I'm very ready for this book. I really want to get to this one this month. It's not necessarily the priority because I feel that way about all of them, but this one might be my next read because I'm very here for it. I'm very ready for it. Do let me know what you thought of this book in a spoiler-free way down in the comment section, because I would love to hear it, and I know that I am slightly behind. And then the final book that I would like to share with you is one that should be the priority for this month because it's taken me like a year of owning this book to even consider getting to it, and that is Gideon IX by Tasmin Moyer. Again, I am like drawn to this one from an archaeology, forensic anthropology, interested in sword trauma, because Gideon IX follows necromancers, like necromancer swordswomen. All I know is that again this series is heralded in the fantasy community. Apparently it is one of those books you never have any idea what's going on and you are always delightfully confused. And I have seen really good reviews of both Gideon IX, the sequel Harrow the Ninth, and then Nona the Ninth has very recently come out, and that is also receiving fantastic reviews. So I just want to get in on this book. I want to read about necromancers and swordswomen. That seems like a lot of fun. I've had this book for so long and I still have not picked it up because I want to enjoy it so badly that I keep waiting for the right time. And if October is not the right time, then I don't know when is. If there was to be like a big priority emphasis for this month, it would have to be Gideon IX and Babel this month. However, I'm already reading Vicious, so we're gonna have to hope that I can at least finish 3 books this month in order to finish Vicious and get to both of those priority books. So that is my very short and very sweet TBR. If you guys have any more autumnal / dark academia / Halloween books, then do please leave them in the comment section so that other people can find them. And if everyone gets involved, then we'll just have a lovely list of recommendations, and I could use the recommendations for November time too. Anything that I don't get to in October, I just want to roll over and keep the autumnal vibes going. As I said, I am expecting my reading levels to take a bit of a hit, to drop down a little bit this month and the rest of the year. I have already achieved my Goodreads goal though. Not that it matters, it is completely arbitrary, but it is nice to know that I've achieved it and now I can kind of just relax a little bit. I want reading and YouTube to be an escape for me from the stress that I'm feeling in the rest of my life, not like it is an added stress and a burden. If anyone has kind of gone through what I'm going through, how did you handle it? How did you balance it? Any tips you may have. With every fibre of my being, would like to keep putting 2 videos a week out for you guys. Would like to keep doing reading sprints, even if that means that I am reading academic materials in those reading sprints. I'm hoping we can really make it work. But just bear with me, I will make sure I'm updating you on my social medias at Page in Chapter if there are any issues, and I'm hoping we can just continue to have fun together for the next year. So if you guys like seeing bookish content, I'm a big fan of reading vlogs and this type of like classic booktube content, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button and stay tuned for videos every single Wednesday and every single Friday for the foreseeable future. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you are enjoying everything that you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future, and I will see you next week for my next video. Bye guys.